that number 33 came off the Bob Sharp racing car, which Paul Newman drove.
Awesome.
It came up to, what you got in there? Little guy.
Damn!
Cool car envy. We love nice cars. We're about to look at some rare Datsuns. We're going to talk racing history, Paul Newman. If you guys like the video, give the channel a little boost, hit like, subscribe, leave us a comment. Let's get right into it.
I bought a 1972 240Z back in 1972, and they were new. And back then, stores weren't open on Sundays. Massachusetts had these blue laws. And so before malls, but shopping centers had 10 acres of asphalt, and they started doing little autocross events and stuff like that because there's no cars there.
Yeah, so cool.
And so I started doing those, and I started doing a little club racing at Lime Rock and Briar and a few other places like that around 74. That's 75, wild. Tore it apart, made a race car out of it. Here's the car. Well, it starts off, I've got some pictures. It was a silver car to begin with, and then we started playing around and painting it. But there she is as a race car.
Beauty.
And I had a trailer and a few other things.
Oh, wow.
And then this is the same car, but with the Japanese nose on it, and I had a Chevy 350 V8 in it.
Oh, wow.
And the torque wanted to turn the car over like that. But cool. There are pictures around of the race car, and
awesome.
Fun little thing.
Yeah, what a beauty.
And some trophies and stuff over there. And then here's a guy came up to me, we were up at Briar in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Had the hood up in the car, and he says, "Hey, can I take a picture of your engine?" I said, "Sure."
Yeah.
And it turns out it was for a catalog. But
cool.
I'll show you when we get in there. The carburetors are SUs, which I've got in that 240Z. These are McCuney Solexes, which they don't make anymore, but the same thing as Weber carburetors. And so it's a 6-cylinder engine, so it had 3 Weber carburetors.
Very impressive.
So here's the House of the Rising Sun.
Right on. The
first Datsuns, it was always Nissan Motors, but they called them Datsuns. I got it from a guy who had this 1600, and the 2 of them coming out of Tucson, Arizona neck of the woods, so they were nice and dry.
Oh, yeah. No salt.
But this one's the 1600, and that's a 2000.
Awesome.
And if you look at them carefully, which General Motors did, they look like a MGB.
Yeah, I see a similarity. Yep.
And but then over here is the Datsun 240Z, actually a 72, the same year as the race car.
Great.
And a Datsun 510. The 510s were interesting little cars. That's a 2-door, then they made a 4-door, and then they made a station wagon.
Nice.
And they didn't call them SUVs then. They were station wagons.
Right. No SUVs back then.
Nope. And cool. These 2 are, as far as I know, the original paint jobs.
Yeah, wow.
These 2 were a very popular Nissan color. It was sort of a creamy white.
Like an off-white, yeah.
And at that point, I had like about probably around 30 cars.
Yeah.
And so I painted them. And this one I put on detachable fender flares and a few other things. I will go over that one in a minute.
Yeah.
But the 510 back there, a guy out in Spokane, Washington had it, and he rallied it. So it's got fiberglass fenders,
cool.
Lexus suspension and seats, double stock horsepower, and a lot of other stuff. So neat. Come on down here. We'll go take a look at it. Now, I showed you outside that picture the guy took of the engine with the triple Webers and stuff like that.
Right.
That was a race car. This one.
Oh, yeah.
But if you look in here, this is a stock engine, and it's got the 2 SUs. And each one of these is a 6-cylinder engine. So on the race car, which got the picture out there, had 3 triple, so each one was a separate carburetor, basically.
Yeah.
But they were a very sturdy engine, a very good engine. Things have changed so much. You could almost climb into here and put some stuff. Guys have put V8s in them. I put a V8 in one of them myself.
Yeah, you could easily fit it in.
Now, if you look at a car, most of it is sealed off.
Right.
And to get like the alternator, Here, you just reach down, pick it up.
Yeah.
That you have to jack the car up, take off half the motor.
Right. Yeah.
Things have changed.
Yeah.
These were a lot simpler. But come on down here and take a look at this one. This is the one that the guy rallied, and it has, the air vents are off, but has two Mikuni Solexes, which are the same thing as Weber's.
Right.
It's a 4-cylinder. That 240Z is a 6-cylinder, so that's why it had 3 of them.
I see. Yeah. Yeah.
And
a little more juice on this one here on the 240.
But these were, like you say, about twice stock horsepower.
Right. So
Good
the owner
engines.
rallied this car, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was a fun car, and
Fiberglass fenders. Oh,
yeah, and Lexus seats inside and a few other things.
Nice. Yeah, we'll get some shots of all that.
I put my number 6 on this one too.
Yeah, cool.
But back there is the hood that came off my car, number 6.
Oh yeah, yep. There's the
and that
striping.
was metal, and then they allowed us to have fiberglass, so
Right.
took a while to put it on.
Yeah.
And the same thing with that number 33 came off the Bob Sharp racing car, which Paul Newman drove.
Awesome.
And
awesome. Look at that. That came off the car Paul Newman would race. Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, and then he left there. He did a movie, I can't remember what the name of it was, that he got hooked on car racing.
Yeah.
And he did some stuff. The first time I met him, he was, he came up to, what you got in there? Little guy.
These are really short shoes.
And then he started doing some racing for Bob Sharp. And then he started doing some more serious racing on his own.
Yeah.
And the car number was his age.
Oh,
and the last car that he raced was car number 83.
Wow. Impressive.
Not bad.
Go Newman.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. A lot of history right there. That is awesome.
But anyway, so these were just my favorite cars.
Yeah. I can see why.
These
are some really nice.
I added things like air dams and rear wings and a lot of other stuff.
Yeah. This one wasn't the original 240 that you owned? Or,
no.
Right, this is a different...
I had to sell that back in 79. Guy in Michigan bought it.
Right. Yep.
And then I got an email from a guy. It, of course, had, records inside of it and stuff like that.
Right.
A guy in Houston who had bought it. It was about the year 2000. And
cool. He said,
so
hey,
it was still going. I'm sure by now it's crunched up.
Yeah, well, you never know.
But so it had quite a history.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it had its
traveled
racing,
around the country.
Yeah, 4 years of racing with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty neat. So you were saying how these cars, a lot of the metal was recycled metal.
Why all of these cars came out of the West Coast is that they rusted out on this coast. And early on, Nissan, when they're using the word Datsun, would buy crunched up cars, wrecks and stuff here, put them on a boat, take them back over there,
I see,
melt them down.
Yeah.
And so they were working with kind of junk metal to begin with.
Yeah.
That had other stuff in with it.
Right.
And then their philosophy was to make them fairly thin.
Right.
To keep. This was 2,100 pounds.
That's light.
And when I raced it, I got it down to 1,900 and change.
Wow. Sub 2,000. That's really light.
And but anyway, so they were, like Colin Chapman said with his Lotuses, make them light, make them fast.
Right.
And so they cut the weight down.
Yep.
But that's why they rusted out on this coast.
Yeah. The salt, this New England weather we have here. But these are some beauties. And yeah, these 510s, they sound incredible when you hear them ripping down the street. What an exhaust note they make.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure the 240 probably had a similar sound, only a little more beefy.
Well, that, and they used to make good mufflers and exhaust systems and stuff that barely met the requirements, but
just nice rumble.
Nice deep sound.
That's what I love about these cars so much, is the sound and the feel and the look.
Yeah, like I say, these were all Datsuns, and in '78 they changed the name back to Nissan. It was Datsuns during the 50s and 60s and 70s, and then in '78.
Yeah, here's the Datsun wing.
It was fun.
Yep.
I'm glad you came and
thank you so much.
tell all your friends. Well, people ask, how long did it take you to collect all those?
Right?
About a year and a half.
So Bill knows a thing or two about Datsuns, I think you would agree. If you get a chance, go visit him over there at Toad Hall in Cape Cod. And you guys can help us get this video more exposure by hitting like, subscribing to the channel, and leaving a comment. We greatly appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one.